Hey everybody, how are we doing? Welcome to today's live. Sorry, I did just cut it out a minute ago, so if you've joined and then it got cut out straight away because I was facing the wrong way and you can't adjust it whilst you're in motion, so I had to cut it off straight away. So hope those that joined didn't just suddenly get cut off, and I hope you're with me now. Do let me know if you are here live. We've got a great one today, all about imposter syndrome. So if that is something that you are familiar with, that you think you might have, then you are going to love today's session. And as ever, if you are here live, do pop a hey in the comments. Do let me know that you are here. And and do sort of come and chat with me as well. I can't see any comments at the minute, so let me just check it's working. If you are here live, just let me know you are here and I can pop you in to do that. So okay, so we've got busy, I don't know about you, but busy week at the minute. February for us is all about birthdays. So it's my husband's 50th on Saturday. So we're all getting all prepped for the 50th party celebrations on Saturday. Very, very busy time coming up. And then it's Oliver's birthday next week as well. So we didn't plan all this very well, did we? Okay, so today, all about imposter syndrome. First of all, who knows what imposter syndrome actually is? Is it something that you're familiar with? Is it something that you feel that you have? So if you are somebody that maybe, you think that you've only got something just due to luck, or maybe that you've got a promotion and you just can't believe that you were given that job, or not actually being paid for what you were worth. Or are you running your business but you're plagued with those doubts and those fears about whether you're up to it or not? Maybe you compare yourself or beat yourself up about how far ahead you are and how everyone else is doing things differently. The thing with imposter syndrome is it's when you have the self-doubt, the uncertainty about your talents and abilities, and that unworthiness feeling, but that doesn't align with what others think of you. So, it's you being the biggest criticism of yourself. And in fact, you think you have fooled others into believing that you are something that you're not. I used to say it about me, it was like this perfect exterior, but yet you're paddling furiously on the inside. So do let me know if that resonates with you. And I'm going to share with you today 7 top tips, some really simple tips to actually start overcoming it right now. So first of all, I just wanted to also say that I'm not a stranger to imposter syndrome myself as well. I used to be in a senior HR role in the corporate world for many, many years. And it's something I actually really struggled with, surprisingly, in my corporate role. And it can still sometimes resurface, but the only difference is now that I'm aware of what it is and I've got those tools and techniques to nip it in the bud straight away. So I tended to be, like an overworker, a people pleaser, constantly feeling that, I shouldn't be where I was, that I was, I had a board position and I was the only female in a board of 9 of us. And so I used to think that they were better than me and they deserved to be there far more than me. And I set ridiculously high standards for myself. I still do that one. What the heck was I even thinking of? What was I doing there? And I was sure I was going to be found out soon. And I used to think I had to work harder and harder to make up for what I considered was a lack of intelligence. And I didn't go to university, for instance, and I used to feel I had to justify where I was. I went back and did my degree when I was in my 20s, and as a woman with children, in a senior job. So at the time when I was doing that, I had 2 small children and in a senior job but working part-time. And I felt that I still had to work double or triple the amount that my male peers did, just to disprove those stereotypes, just to be taken seriously. So let me know if that's something that resonates with you too. I just didn't believe I deserved to be there. So I had those high levels of perfectionism. Have to get things, I had to get things perfect. I had to know every bit of information. And any accomplishments actually were down to chance or to luck. It wasn't due to me, or so I kept putting it down to. And actually I used to, again, if I think about when I was presenting to the board, I would literally prepare and read loads of books. I'd go over it so much so that I didn't feel that they could catch me out. And afterwards people were, really nice, and they'd say that was great, but I would never focus on the good messages. I just thought that they would be nice. So I'd pick up on the negative, or the ones that, they didn't say anything, and, and I just felt that I'd wasted their time. And that's when the voices then start playing over and over. So those of you that maybe experience it, you then start convincing yourself that what you're telling yourself is true. So even when I got more and more compliments and I got higher up the ladder, I'd ignore those and just focus on the other stuff too. And again, I'd kind of walk away thinking, oh, I've got away with it again. So it's, I was almost constantly then doing this hamster wheel of putting more and more pressure on myself. So, I'm feeling almost guilty, I suppose, for feeling that I was tricking people. And it makes, imposter syndrome then makes you second guess all your decisions and lowers your confidence and damages your self-esteem and limits your success. And in the work that I do with my private clients, it's become clear that imposter syndrome is one of the key things that holds people back from achieving their full potential. I was only speaking to a really successful lady this morning who has imposter syndrome. So it just holds people back from achieving their full potential, going to that next level. So I'm going to share with you some simple tips today that you can go away with and to overcome that imposter syndrome right now. I know for me, NLP and that inner mindset work saved me. I'm not going to lie on that. It really did, because I was able to be aware of what I was doing and, put some techniques in to stop the imposter syndrome. But it's a bit of a moving feast, I would have to say, on that. It's an evolving creature, and you might actually have to do these a few times. But these are nice, simple ones. These are some nice, simple ones that I'm going to go through with you. But before I do that, I just wanted to say that the first thing about imposter syndrome is that it's not down to intellect. Anybody can have this. And it's actually interesting to think that even the people we think wouldn't have it, they do too. And majority of the people that I see it with are hugely successful in their own right. And it's often women entrepreneurs that, really do struggle with this. And I know that for me, when I went into business, my own business, the imposter syndrome increased for a while. And there's so many actors and public figures that have openly said that they've got it. Emma Watson, Kate Winslet, Meryl Streep, Sheryl Sandberg, and Jodie Foster. And so you think, if they have it, oh my goodness. So actually the key thing about it is, the nature of, imposter syndrome means that any external success actually heightens rather than kind of soothes the effect of it. Because all we do is we believe that we're ramping up the confidence trick that we're playing on everybody. And the work you put in, keeps the cycle going. So anything further that you get, again, you just consider that they're just the illusion of your success again. In fact, Emma Watson, a quote that she's got, let me just read it, is she actually said, "The more I accomplish, the feelings of inadequacy increases." And because of this, actually, we have, because of the perfectionism, we're afraid to show vulnerability. We're afraid to admit that we're nervous to do something. And any small mistake And we question our own competence on that. And we then ask for help. Well, God, no. We can't actually ask for help, can we? So we have to keep doing all of this on our own, because we consider ourselves unworthy. And we think that means that we're a failure if we actually ask for help. Now, some people just live with it and feel that there's nothing they can do about it. And other people like you might be at the point right now where you're thinking, I'd really like to do something about this. So the first thing is that lots of women tend to give up or keep themselves small, as they think they just can't do it. So if you're somebody that imposter syndrome, and it's has the imposter syndrome and it has stopped you doing something, I want you to now first of all think about what it is and what is it costing you. So what are you losing out on by playing into this imposter syndrome? What opportunities are you missing out on by holding on to this as a problem? So if you've ever heard of, there's a crabs in the bucket story. It's one of my little story that talks about there's crabs in a bucket, and the one starts actually trying to get out of the bucket, and all of the others pull the crab down. As it's trying to step out of the comfort zone. So crab, it's almost trying to escape, and the others are pulling them down. And we do this ourselves. As we get to the edge of our comfort zone, our crabby comfort zone does what it can to keep us safe. So it pulls us back by telling us that we're not good enough to go and do it. Or we should do this or we should do that. So here's my simple tips today for you to actually take on, to overcome imposter syndrome. And you can literally do these in 5 minutes. So the first one is we've got to actually start thinking differently and challenging these doubts. So call them out. Actually call them out and think, hang on a minute, who's telling me that I'm not good enough to do that? So the first step is actually acknowledging your thoughts and putting them in perspective. So rather than, just because you've thought a thought doesn't mean it's true. And I say that to all my clients. So, first of all, observing what the thought is, rather than engaging into it. So rather than joining in almost the conversation with yourself that you're not good enough, look at what that thought is and then ask, does that thought help or does it hinder me? So that's number one. Number two is to challenge those doubts. Now, the problem with people with imposter syndrome is they give way too much attention to the voices in your head. Hey, Charlie, lovely to see you. I know there's a few people dropped off here, so I was hoping that there's not a problem, because we had people join and then gone. Have fallen off, or coming in and going out. So I'm glad you're still with us, Charlie. It's obviously working today. So have a think about what attention you're paying to the voices in your head, because you've got to stop thinking like an imposter. You have got to stop thinking like an imposter. So I like to challenge my thoughts and ask whether there's actually any facts to support my belief. You're looking for the evidence to counter them, and then you can actually say, I choose to release my fear and doubt. Number three, and I love this, so I encourage all my ladies in my programs to build up a wins list, a high vibe list. So when the doubt crops up, which it will, it's going to happen, it happens every day, then they can read through their list as a reminder of all the wins that they've had. So get a success journal, write all your compliments and your successes and celebrate them as well. Because we often focus on all the things that we can't do rather than what we can. And this is a great way of proving as a big reminder of all your skills and why you're there in the first place, why you're doing what you're doing. Number four, it's okay to ask for help. Everyone is unique and has something to offer. And there are people that are better at some things than you. And just know that it's okay. You don't have to be great at everything. Almost no one can do it all. So it's okay to be supported. One of the money blocks that I see coming up actually is about receiving, and imposter syndrome feeds into that block. So when we're receiving, it's almost a failure on our part, that we're feeding into that unworthy mindset. So, it's okay to ask for help is the first, the number 4. Number 5, you don't have to know everything. So it follows on from number 4. Since you believe you've got all the answers, you then consider yourself a fraud or a failure if you then don't answer a question. But remember that everybody has to start somewhere, and everyone starts, everyone's got to start at the beginning. So have the courage to be imperfect. Be just proud of everything you've done so far. Everything we do is a learning for us. And you do not have to know absolutely everything about everything. So that's number 5. Number 6 is to visualize success. Visualization is one of the most powerful techniques out there right now. So visualization is that practice of repeatedly, imagining what you want to achieve in order to create and attract it. It's the method that lots of athletes use. Oprah Winfrey is keen to use this one. So spend time, once you've had that awareness, so you've gone through this 7-step process and you've got the awareness and you understand what the thoughts are, then you can actually say, well, what do I want instead? How do I want to be? And visualize the successful outcome of that. So always, before you go and do something where the little, monster has come up of self-doubt, now picture what it is that you want to be successful at. Oh, I'm glad, Sandy. I'm so glad that it's what you wanted to hear today. And number 7, stop comparing yourself to that person. You aren't here to live the life of someone else. So remember, they've got their own shit happening as well. So instead of allowing others' success to almost highlight your own internal flaws, just use it as a way of aspiration and inspiration. So what is it that they've got that you feel that you haven't, and how can you develop those? But see, as you're not comparing, you'll use it to motivate you rather than see that you're lower than them. So there's my top 7 tips. Please do let me know what your biggest ahas were and which one of those 7 you're going to go straight away and do right now. Because I want you to go ahead and pick at least one of them and go and do it right now and see what success that you get with it. And please do let me know what you found that biggest aha was, and let me know how you get on. So that's it for today. Hope you've enjoyed that. If you really want to get rid of those internal sabotages that are not serving you anymore, and you do actually want to go deeper and find out what's actually going on for you, then please do message me. Countdown is on at the minute for enrolling in my next online NLP practitioner and coach training. The closing date for enrolling in this next program, in the March program, is 28th of February. So please do message me if you would like more details on that. Sandy, visualization for you. So you're moving to bigger premises and have a fear of failing. Yeah, so you've got to see the successful outcome of that before you do it, and keep on playing it over and over in your mind. I actually love to record my success mantra, and so I've got a visualization technique to get, to get a successful outcome, and I play it over. And so I record it on a voice note. I've got it recorded on a voice note, and I will play it over and over for me. It really, really works. So I hope you've enjoyed that today, and I will see you again next week. Bye for now.